Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, dear students, we're going to talk about the connective tissue. First, we said that the functional and the structural unit of our body is the cell. When the cells are connected together, they form tissues. We have four basic tissues, which are the epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. These tissues connected together to form organs, and the organs form systems, and the systems form our body. So the four major types are the connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. Today, inshallah, we're going to talk about the connective tissue. The general characters of the connective tissue include that they are widely separated cells with excess matrix in between. It is formed of cells, fibers, and matrix. It contains blood vessels, nerves, and lymphatics. The main function is to connect, support, and protect organs. According to the matrix, the connective tissue is classified into: if the matrix is fluid, so we're talking about blood. If it is soft, we're talking about connective tissue proper. If it is rubbery, we're talking about cartilage. If it's hard, we're talking about bone. Here is the types of connective tissue. Loose connective tissue, for example, the loose areolar connective tissue, tendons, ligaments, adipose connective tissue, bone, cartilage, and blood. Connective tissue proper is formed of cells, fibers, and matrix. The first cell we're going to talk about is called undifferentiated mesenchymal cell. What do I mean by undifferentiated? This cell is not a specialized cell. It can change to any type of cell. It is small branched cell, pale basophilic, as it contains ribosome and the nucleus is pale. It contains few organelles and few ribosomes, and the nucleus is pale, euchromatic. The nucleus, the function is to differentiate into other types of connective tissue cells. The second cell is called the pericyte. As you can see here, this is a blood capillary that lined with endothelial cell. The pericyte is around the capillary. It has processes. These pericytes contract to regulate the blood flow inside this capillary. So don't ever, never forget that these pericytes contain actin and myosin filaments. The pericyte arises from UMC, present around blood capillaries, branched with oval nucleus and pale cytoplasm. It contains ribosomes, and don't forget the actin and myosin filaments. They function vasoconstriction, and it can give rise to fibroblast and smooth muscle cells. Here is an electron microscopic picture showing the blood capillary, and this is the RBCs lined, the capillary lined by endothelial cell, and this is the pericyte with its process. The other cell is called the fat cell. This fat cell is stained with hematoxylin and eosin. The fat enter the cell, push the nucleus and the cytoplasm at one side. When stained with hematoxylin and eosin, the fat will dissolve, so it appears as a signet ring. If you want to study the fat, you should stain it with Sudan 3, and here it appears orange in color. The fat cell arise from UMC, undifferentiated mesenchymal cell. They are large cell with basal oval with peripheral flat nucleus and thin rim of the cytoplasm. By hematoxylin and eosin, the fat dissolves and appears a signet ring appearance. It should be stained with Sudan 3 in order to appear orange. By electron microscope, it appears electron dense in color. The function of the fat cell is storage of fat. The other cell here is known as fibroblast. Dear student, the letter here, the blast, means the active or the young cell. This fibroblast is protein-producing cell. It forms all types of fibers, elastic, reticular, and collagen, as well as it produces the ground substance. So, any cell, protein-producing cell, the cytoplasm is basophilic and the nucleus is pale. By EM, there is rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and mitochondria, and euchromatic nucleus with prominent nucleoli. The fibroblast is the most common cell in our body, the most common connective tissue cell in our body. It arises from the undifferentiated mesenchymal cell and from the pericyte. By light microscope, it appears deep basophilic, pale nucleus with prominent nucleoli. Electron microscopic picture, it appears branched cell with euchromatic nucleus and the three organelles that involved in protein production, rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and mitochondria. The function of the fibroblast is formation of all parts of all types of collagen of fibers, which are collagen, elastic, and reticular, as well as it produces the matrix, and if injury occurs in the connective tissue, it is involved with healing of the connective tissue. This cell is the macrophage. This is a diagrammatic picture. As you can see here, that the cell has an irregular membrane. Why? In order to form pseudopodia. Any phagocytic cell after phagocytosis and engulfing of the material, it should react with lysosome, and the lysosome arises from the rough endoplasmic reticulum and the Golgi apparatus. The macrophage arises from blood monocyte. They are large cells with pseudopodia. What the meaning of pseudo? Pseudo means false podia pedicle, in order to engulf the foreign particle. It has dark nucleus as it's not active cell and contains vacuoles which are digested materials. By EM, there is lysosome, Golgi apparatus, heterochromatic nucleus, and we said irregular membrane. The function of macrophage is to phagocytose foreign particle, clean, wound, as you can see here, irregular membrane, the antigen will enter and will be digested and released outside the cell by exocytosis. Then we are talking about the plasma cell. The plasma cell is deep basophilic with negative Golgi image. It is active protein producing cell. It produces antibodies, and these antibodies is important for humoral immunity. As you see, this is a diagrammatic picture for the EM picture of the plasma cell. You can see that there is well-developed rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and mitochondria. Here, as you can see, there is negative Golgi image, as you know that the Golgi apparatus appears brown with silver, and by hematoxylin and eosine appears as negative image. The plasma cell arises from activated B lymphocyte. It is oval, deep basophilic, negative Golgi image, and the nucleus is eccentric at one side. What the meaning of cartwheel? The chromatin arranged as in the periphery of the nucleus in the form of cartwheel appearance. It contains many rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and mitochondria, and a euchromatic nucleus. The function is antibody formation, which is important for humoral immunity. The other cell is called mast cell. Here is LM picture of the mast cell. You can see many granules. By EM picture, you can see electron-dense granules. It is active protein-producing cell. These granules are histamine, heparin, and eosinophil chemotactic factor. The mast cell is cell responsible for allergy. It arises from UMC. the cell present in the respiratory passages and in the digestive tract. By light microscope, they are oval cell with many basophilic granules. By EM, it is rich in Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, and granules, rough endoplasmic reticulum. The mast cell contain a receptor to which attached the antibodies secreted by the plasma cell. The first exposure to antigen, this is an antigen, the first exposure, the B lymphocyte change it into plasma cell and produce antibodies. The antibodies attached here on the mast cell. On the second exposure, antigen-antibody complex lead to release of the following. Histamine, which is vasodilator, heparin, which is anticoagulant, and eosinophil chemotactic factor. This eosinophil chemotactic factor attracts eosinophil. Why? In order to localize or terminate the allergy. Why? The histamine causes vasodilatation that can lead to decrease in the blood pressure and severe edema. Edema in the vocal cords may lead to suffocation. So, the eosinophil chemotactic factor stimulates the release of eosinophil from the circulation to the site of allergy, where it produces histaminase in order to get rid of this histamine. This is the mast cell, and this is the antibodies secreted from the plasma cell, and here is the antigen, and here are the granules secreted from the mast cell. The last cell we are going to talk about, as you see, it is cell with long processes that communicate together, form a reticulum. This cell is called reticular cell. Branched cell with long processes that anastomose together to form reticulum. Together with the reticular fiber form reticular connective tissue, which is important for support of organ, and it is stained with silver. Connective tissue fibers. As I told you before, there are three types of connective tissue fiber, collagen, reticular, and elastic. The collagen fiber appear acidophilic and they are arranged in bundles, while the elastic fibers are singly arranged. The reticular fiber does not appear here in this photo because it is stained with silver, and this is hematoxylin and eosine stained section. The collagen fiber is the most common type of connective tissue fiber. There are many types of collagen fiber, type 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 13. Type 1 arranged in bundles and appears white in fresh section. It is the strongest type. Stained red with eosine and with Mallory appear blue. What is the character of the collagen fiber? They are strong and flexible but not elastic. Collagen fiber, if present in any tissue, causes strength of this tissue. Here are the elastic fibers. Elastic fibers means elasticity. What the meaning of elasticity? Increase when the elastic fiber stretch, so the diameter of this structure increase, and when it relax, it causes recoil in this elastic fiber. The elastic fiber is formed of protein known as elastin, arises from the fibroblast. The elastic fiber single acidophilic fiber. The characters, they are stretchable. In fresh section, they appear yellow. Stained brown with orcine. The function of the yellow elastic fiber is elasticity. As you can see here, this is a diagrammatic picture for the elastic fiber. Here the elastic fiber is in relaxed state and here in stretched state. As you can see, the diameter increase. The last type of fiber is known as the reticular fiber. As you can see here, it is stained brown with silver and appears as a reticulum. It is considered as to be type 3 collagen fiber. Very thin branched anastomose together with the reticular cell forming network. Cannot be demonstrated by hematoxylin and eosine and should be stained with silver. The function is forming the background أو stroma of organ. Okay. The connective tissue matrix, cells and fibers are embedded in soft matrix formed of protein and carbohydrates and tissue fluid. It provides media of exchange of nutrients as it is highly vascular and contain lymphatic vessel, and to exchange the waste products between the cells and the blood, as well as it acts a barrier against the microbial spread. Connective tissue proper is formed of cells, fibers, and the matrix. The matrix is soft. The fibers are collagen, elastic, and reticular. The cells are UMC, pericyte, fibroblast, macrophage, fat cell, reticular cell, plasma cell, and mast cell. Let us remember that UMC can differentiate into any type of cell. Pericyte around the capillary and can contract. Fibroblast, it is the most common, forming fibers and matrix. Macrophage is a phagocytic cell. Fat cell store fat, act as an insulator. Reticular cell support. Plasma cell responsible for production of antibodies and humoral immunity. Mast cell responsible for allergy. The collagen fiber, the strongest. Elastic elasticity, reticular forming support. Now we are going to take types of connective tissue proper. The first type is known as loose areolar connective tissue. What the meaning of areolar? There are potential cavities that can accommodate gases or fluid. As you can see here, it is formed of all fibers, especially the collagen fibers. All cells, especially 2M, mast and macrophage, 2F, fibroblast and fat cell. The loose areolar is the most common type of connective tissue, formed of all connective tissue cell, especially fibroblast and fat cell, macrophage and mast cell. Formed of all types, especially the collagen fiber. The matrix is delicate and well vascularized and contains cavities that accommodate fluids and gases. It is present everywhere except the brain. Why? In the brain, the skull is solid, surrounding the brain, which is soft. Any tissue containing cavities and accommodate fluid will not press on the skull, will press on the brain. So it will lead to pressure on any center, causing severe damage to the brain. That's why there is no loose areolar connective tissue in the brain. The function, it binds structure together and important of exchange of material, and it limits the spread of infection. How? Exchange of materials, as it is highly vascular and containing lymph vessels. How it limits the spread of infection? The collagen fiber hinder the movement of the microbes. While hindering, there are macrophages that phagocytose any foreign particle. Here is the loose areolar connective tissue stained with hematoxylin and eosin. These are the collagen fiber, elastic fiber, and different cells, and these are the areolar cavities or the potential cavities. The second type of a connective tissue, the fat cells are present there, and this is called white adipose connective tissue. Guess what is the function of this type of tissue? Its importance, it is present under the skin and present in the mammary gland and stained with Sudan's tree. It stores fat. Why? To insulate heat. You know that the temperature moves from high to low temperature. Presence of the fat cells, fat tissue under the skin act as an insulator, prevent heat loss from the body. It supports organs as the kidney. So please take care while making a diet to avoid rapid decrease in the level of the fat around the kidney that may descend for millimeter. You know that from the kidney arises the ureter. If kink occur in the ureter, this will lead to back movement of the urine toward the kidney and make a kidney dysfunction. Also, it gives the shape of the body. This is the reticular connective tissue, which is formed of reticular cells and fibers and important as a stroma for organs to protect organs. A network of reticular cell and fibers stained by silver form the stroma of the organ and has supportive function. Elastic connective tissue is formed of elastic fibers. Elasticity means increasing the diameter on need. For example, if you are running, the heart rate increase and the respiratory rate increase, so the elastic fiber will distend to increase the blood supply and the air entry. After you get rest, everything will return back. So the function is elasticity and recoil. Where it's present in the aorta, blood vessels, and in ligaments. Stained brown with orthene, the function provide elasticity. The white fibrous connective tissue is formed of collagen fibers, so I want strength. In between the collagen fibers, there are fibroblasts. We have two types of white fibrous connective tissue, regular and irregular. The regular type, here you can see the regularly arranged collagen in order to withstand stretch in one direction and for transparency. So it is present in the tendons of the muscles and in the cornea. In the cornea for the strength as well as for the transparency. If they are present in irregular arrangement, this is due to function as to withstand resistance in different direction as that present in the capsule of organs and in the sclera. Now we're going to study the data show slides. This is fibroblast with achromatic nucleus and prominent nucleolus surrounded with the collagen fiber that secreted it. This is loose areolar connective tissue. As you can see, the collagen fibers, elastic fiber. You can see different types of cells. And you can see the cavities, which is the potential cavities. That's why it's called areolar. This is called the white adipose connective tissue. As you can see here, it's formed of fat cell with the signet ring appearance and rim of cytoplasm. This is stained with hematoxylin and eosine. This is regular white fibrous connective tissue in which the collagen fiber are regularly arranged and fibroblast present in between them. This is irregularly arranged collagen fibers. This is yellow elastic connective tissue. Lastly, it is the reticular connective tissue formed of reticular cells and fibers stained by silver. These are some short questions. Give short account on cell involved in healing of wound. What is the cell involved in healing of wound? Yes, the fibroblast. What is the histological structure of connective tissue cell involved with allergy? Which cell involved with allergy? Mast cell. What is the staining of the following? Fibroblast stained with hematoxylin, fat cell stained with Sudan 3, reticular cell stained with silver. You didn't take the stain of the macrophage, it's called vital stain. This is a very important question. Correlate the structure with the function of the cell responsible for humoral immunity. First of all, what is the cell responsible for humoral immunity? The plasma cell. How to correlate the structure with the function? For example, the plasma cell, the cytoplasm is basophilic with negative Golgi due to presence of rough endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is important for protein production and the Golgi apparatus is important for secretion. The mitochondria is important for energy production. the nucleus is active, and so that is achromatic. Okay, thank you, dear.